Hello, welcome back. I am Reverend Dr. Lori Williams, and today I want to talk to you about some core lessons that we are here to learn in this lifetime. So I'm going to be strictly talking about, the human experience, the human side of the spiritual experience, because we are spirits having a human experience. And unfortunately, a lot of us get stuck in this cycle of the core lessons that we're here to learn. These core lessons typically have, come to fruition to what they are in this lifetime over multiple lifetimes. Typically, it's not just like, hey, now you have to deal with abandonment, or hey, now you have to deal with acceptance or validation or anything like that. So I'm probably going to be mostly using abandonment, but before I get into going too far into this, I want to talk a little bit about, like, what is it that what are some core lessons that we on a soul level are here to learn. One of them is definitely abandonment. Abandonment is very, very common. Another one is acceptance, validation. Another is forgiveness, and then the fourth that I know of is love. So unfortunately, where we get stuck is we look for all of these things outside of ourselves. And this is where, like I said, we get stuck in this. We get stuck in this cycle of, why are you leaving me? Why don't you love me? Why can't you forgive me? Why are you not validating me? Why don't you accept me for who I am? And the truth of it is it is not anyone else's responsibility in your life, past, present, or future, to give you any of those things. It is not someone else's responsibility to stay in your life because you have a core abandonment issue. It's not someone else's responsibility to love you because we as human beings, we have a need for connection, and love is part of that connection. It is not anyone else's job to do that for you. And this is why I wanted to share this concept, this video with you today, is because the one thing that we're not taught is these core lessons that we're here to learn on a soul level actually need to come from us. It needs to come from ourselves. We're taught as a society to go look for love in other places, go look for validation from outside people, make sure that people that, if they love you, they're not going to leave you, and all this kind of stuff. But I want to pose some questions to you. When was the last time you forgave yourself? When was the last time you stopped abandoning yourself? Now you might ask me, like, well, Lori, what does abandoning myself look like? It looks like not showing up for yourself. It's saying you're going to do something for yourself and not doing it. Self-sabotage is a huge, huge, huge form of abandonment and how we abandon ourselves. It's looking another massive way in which we abandon ourselves is looking for all of these things outside of ourselves. Because if you're looking for, let's say if you're looking for validation through your relationships, you're abandoning yourself and giving yourself that validation. Other people are not here for your growth. You are here for your growth. Your growth on a soul level and on a human level it's an inside job. It's a solo journey back home, essentially, is what your soul is here to do. It's a solo journey to learn, to grow, to evolve, and then you go back home, which ultimately is, when we're no longer in the physical body. So I definitely encourage you to stop abandoning yourself. And here's the funny thing that happens. Funny, meaning ironic. The funny thing that happens in all of this is when you stop abandoning yourself, you also stop attracting relationships where you feel abandoned. When you start to validate yourself, you stop attracting relationships where you're constantly needing to validate them, but they don't validate you. It's all of these unhealthy aspects of our relationships cease to exist when we start giving ourselves the things that we need the most. It is not someone else's job to do these things for you. But we look outside of ourselves because we think it's easier. Chasing people saying, love me, forgive me, validate me, don't leave me, is such a low vibe, desperate energy. And it's never meant to be that low vibe, desperate energy. It's meant to be a lift yourself up, empower yourself, literally keeping your power for yourself and not giving it away. So I really encourage you to look at all the areas in your life where, like I said, you're abandoning yourself. You're not validating yourself. You're not validating who you are, who you've been, who you are, who you're going to become. I want you to look at the areas of, where you need to forgive yourself, where you need to let yourself off the hook, where you need to be okay with not knowing what you know now, back when you made the decisions that you did. Let yourself off the hook for that. You learned along the way. That is the point. You can forgive yourself. You can let yourself off the hook for that. And probably, I can't say that it's necessarily most important, but I definitely think it's one of the hardest, is to make sure you're giving yourself the love that you're so desperately looking outside of yourself for. Because I promise you, you're the only one in this entire world that will ever be able to love yourself the way you truly need to be loved. There is no one else outside of you that will be able to give you that love. You literally are your biggest love affair that you will ever have. And it's time that you start tapping into that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you back here next time.